Today we are talking about energy in ecosystems and how it moves through ecosystems. So this will also kind of be a biology review. So we'll let Miss Reed do most of our explaining. But just so you know, by the end of this lecture, of this video, plus by the end of the classwork that we're going to do, including the lab that we're going to do, you should be able to trace the flow of energy through a food web. You should be able to define the role of each player in a food web, and you should be able to explain the loss of energy as trophic levels increase. Right. So now I will turn it over to Miss Reed.
What's up, gang? No nature walk today. Sorry, so we're going to learn about food chains. Yeah! Think about it next time you eat something.
Every organism needs to obtain energy in order to live. For example, plants get energy from the sun. Some animals eat the plants, and some animals eat other animals. A food chain is the sequence of who eats whom in a biological community, an ecosystem, to obtain nutrition. Food chains follow a single path as organisms eat each other. You've also probably seen food webs, which show how plants and animals are connected in many ways to help them all survive. So food webs show how plants and animals are interconnected by different paths. A food chain will generally show one possible path. Now, a food chain starts with the primary energy source, which is most likely the sun or deep sea vents. The next link in the chain is an organism that makes its own food from the primary energy source. An example is photosynthetic plants that make their own food from sunlight using photosynthesis, which we know all about. These are called autotrophs or primary producers. So let's talk about trophic levels. From where an animal gets its nutrition determines to what trophic level they belong. Remember that plants are producers. They make their own food from the energy of the sun. So we call this autotroph. All organisms that make their own food are classified in the producer trophic level. Heterotrophs, on the other hand, consume other organisms for their nutrition. All heterotrophs are consumers. Organisms that consume only autotrophs are classified in the primary consumer trophic level. So in this pyramid, the mouse would be our primary consumer. Organisms that consume primary consumers are called secondary consumers, like this snake here. And the people or the organisms that consume the secondary consumers are tertiary consumers, like the hawk, who will eat the snake. Decomposers are a special class of consumers that decompose organisms right down to the organism's minerals, carbon dioxide, and water. Decomposers are the original recyclers here on Earth, freeing up basic materials that they are available for reuse. And certain fungi and bacteria are decomposers. So an energy pyramid depicts the amount of energy in each trophic level. When primary consumers eat producers, not all of the plant material is digested and used by the consumer, so some energy is lost. The same is true each time you go up a trophic level, so the amount of energy contained in each successive trophic level is less than the one before, so the least amount of energy is at the top of the pyramid with the highest level consumer. The closer you are consuming to the bottom of the pyramid, the more energy you're actually getting.
Now that you are all pros on how energy is transferred through ecosystems, make sure that you read the introduction and do all of the pre-lab work that needs to be done before our lab that we're going to do tomorrow.